Thank you. So you guys should have a container of MagicSand. Your deli container filled with water, a squirt bottle, and then you guys should have 2 squares that are colored, and then beach sand on a square. Alright? So
you don't want to be the one with the balls in it, do you?
if the water spheres are still in there, please take them out.
Oh, mine's all
Squish.
sorry.
You can put your water spheres in the beaker that contained your sand. Or
So is it okay if it's still? If it's kind of broken up in there?
You should be able to pick it up, but if you want to dump it out and fill it up with more water, that's fine.
No,
Alright, so when you go to the beach, because it's the summer and we live in Michigan, so we're totally surrounded with beaches, what typically happens when the water mixes with the sand? Does the sand absorb the water or does it repel the water? It absorbs the water because sand is hydrophilic. So if you guys take your squares with the beach sand on there and you squirt some water on there, you can see the water is being absorbed by the sand. You guys can feel it and it feels like wet sand, right? Now, in your deli containers, take the MagicSand and pour it into the water. Do you guys think this is gonna absorb the water or repel the water? Alright, absorb? Okay, let's test this. So just pour it in there. See what happens. And you guys can touch it and feel it. So when you feel it, is it wet or dry?
Dry.
It's dry, right. So is this, so did it repel or absorb the water?
Repel.
Repel, so that it means it's hydrophobic, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And you can also see it up close with the blue squares or the MagicSand squares that you guys have. So if you also squirt water on there, you can see that it forms like a droplet. And you can move it and whatnot, but it's not going to be absorbed by the sand.
sometimes we'll tell the kids to squirt it really, really hard when they squirt the bottle with a lot of pressure, and it'll like bounce right off. It's really cool.
So,
Talk about the sheen. In there, yeah. Or they can dip their squares too.
Okay, you guys can also dip your squares into the water, and you can see that it doesn't absorb. You can just feel it, and it's still dry. So this sand is covered in a hydrophobic nanofilm, so it's prevented from absorbing water. And originally this was created for oil spills. So when there was like an oil spill in like the Gulf or in the river or the ocean or wherever, they would take this and dump it in. It will absorb all the oil, however it wouldn't absorb the water. So it will clean up the oil. However, it became way too expensive to do it, so they made this an awesome toy. So you could go to the store, like to Toys R Us, I believe, or a kid's store, wherever, and you can actually buy it and play with sand.
Of course, there's some in your kit too.
And that too.
I was gonna say, do you know the name of it? The store too.
It's called
MagicSand.
MagicSand.
Is that what that is?
And I don't know if you guys can see, but the sand itself looks like it has like a coating on it. Like it sometimes looks silvery or white. That's actually air, because it's that much afraid of the water that it'll form a layer of air between itself and the water. And the same thing when you dip your square in there. That's when it tends to be most noticeable, is with the squares. It's dry. You can pull it out with your hands and show your students that, you know, it comes out dry. Now, this is another one of those things that you want to always have clean hands when you use it, because the oils from your skin will be attracted to that, because the oil will bind to it and then it'll change its properties. So over time it will go bad. But this is really easy to clean up. You just kind of pour off the water and then put a paper towel on top of the magic sand and push down, and the towel will absorb the rest of the water that's left over, and it's dry, and then you put it away.
And I also wanted to mention that, like, we have the cards, so you can squirt water on it, or however you want to go about that demo. But we were just talking about actually coating a spoon with magic sand, so they can hold the spoon and dip it in water, or squirt it directly onto the spoon, and that may be easier than the cards. And
that's recommended by the manufacturer. It is in your book. They tell you how, coat a plastic spoon, and they can play catch with the water.
Yeah.
Like coat it, like that's what I was wondering how they
with glue.
coat it.
So you put glue around the spoon, and then you dip it in magic sand, and the sand will stick to
I
it.
mean, any type of glue.
It's a specific type of glue.
To make these squares, I use Aleen's glue, A-L-E-E-N-S glue from Joann's. It's very similar to Elmer's glue, except it's not as runny. It's thicker. A-L-E-E-N-E-S.